1686 in London, there was a physician named Thomas Sydenham. He is now known as like the English Hippocrates. He contributed a lot of different things to the state of medicine as an English person. And he described these children that would have episodes where all of a sudden, out of the blue, totally healthy, and then they were writhing, they were flailing, they were twisting their bodies, and not just their bodies, but their minds. They were sobbing uncontrollably or laughing hysterically, or would have huge outbursts of emotion or aggression. Now, what he didn't know, he termed this St. Vitus dance and couldn't explain why it was happening, but found that it was happening. It was the 1600s after all. Hundreds of years later, what we know is that those movements, called choreiform movements, are one of the main criteria for rheumatic fever, which is caused by strep. And what he saw back then, and we still see today, is infections can actually cause neuropsychiatric changes, just as he described in the 1600s when he said, hey, these children were perfectly healthy, and then all of a sudden they're having these obsessive thoughts. They are moving in abnormal ways. They're having episodes of aggression. And what it all stemmed from was a strep infection. Now today, we know and recognize, at least some physicians recognize, that strep and other infections can cause neuropsychiatric changes in the brain. But we know that there are children and adults that have serious neuropsychiatric changes after getting an infection. Two of those are called PANS and PANDAS. If you can see the little button that a patient gave me, it shows what it looks like. Their brain is on fire. And what happens is they get this infection, and because of molecular mimicry and ongoing inflammation, it can actually cause changes in their brain, which then cause changes in their mood and in their behaviors. And so what that is called, as it was on this button, is PANS, Pediatric Acute Neuropsychiatric Syndrome. And what we see in these children is they will get an infection. Sometimes it's strep, sometimes it's other viral infections or things along those lines. And they can have serious changes in their mood, in their eating, in their aggression, in bodily movements that is outside of their control caused by an infection. There's a sub-diagnosis under that called PANDAS, Pediatric Autoimmune Neuropsychiatric Disorder Associated with Strep, which is specifically when they get strep throat. They get strep throat, and then weeks later, they have huge bouts of obsessive compulsive disorder, of refusal to eat, of lots of other mood changes or anxiety changes that they didn't otherwise experience or didn't experience to that same degree. Now, the more that we can talk about it and the more that we can raise awareness of it, the more it's going to help, because a lot of parents are brushed off as it's just the way that you're parenting, or your child is just manipulating, or those sorts of things. If we can understand and recognize that there are children out there that when they get infections, their brain chemistry changes, their brain regions change that cause them to have different behaviors, different movements, those sorts of things, then we can recognize and say, hey, I think this is PANS, or I think this is PANDAS. We should evaluate this, because there are treatments out there that can help to get those symptoms to go away, and then what to do the next time they get an infection is something that we can approach. So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully you could share this, because today is PANS Worldwide Awareness Day, and it would be great if we could shed more light on this condition that affects a lot of families in a major way and often goes undiagnosed for years and years before they get the help that they need and deserve.